So today in Berlin at IFA, Honor has showcased the technology that's gone into this, which is their Honor Magic V2. Now, as you can see clearly in the title of the video, I've got my hands on one and I wanted to run through it, the hardware for you in this video, and a bit of a comparison too to another foldable, which is similar. This is the Xiaomi Mix Fold 3. Now the Honor Magic V2 does have the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. It's got 16 gigabytes of RAM, and this model that Honor sent out to me does have 512 gigabytes of UFS 4.0 storage, which is very quick. Now, if you didn't know already, this is the lightest and thinnest foldable. It is, when unfolded, just 4.7 millimeters, the thickness of it, and when folded, 9.9 millimeters. And if you have the vegan leather back version, it's just 231 grams. First impressions of the build quality, well, it is superb. There is no flaws anywhere. There's no sharp edges. It just screams quality. So on the back of it, we've got, depends on the version you get. There's a vegan leather version that's only 231 grams, and that's super light. But this model here with the glass back and front, and I like this glass too because look how it sort of shimmers in the light and it doesn't pick up fingerprints. It resists them really well. So this is 237 grams. So this is the Xiaomi Mix Fold 3 and it's the same kind of format. And look at the difference here. They are very, very similar, but they're 9.9 millimeters of the Honor Magic V2 is better, you can see. Better than the 10.9 millimeters of the Xiaomi here. Now the Xiaomi is heavier too. This weighs 259 grams and it's got the carbon on the back of it, which also does look very good. I like the look of it. And this doesn't pick up any fingerprints at all. This carbon style does a little bit. You can see now a few little smudges. So really good build quality. Now we have a magnesium alloy frame here with our Magic V2, and this feels really good. It's rounded to the edges of it, so very comfortable in hand. Our always on fingerprint reader, so you can easily get access to that when you're holding it with one hand here. You tap that and it unlocks. Now, I've had no problems with it at all. It is very good, this hardware, and then the volume up and down buttons there too. Now, at the bottom, you see our Type-C port. Look at how they've managed to squeeze that in there, that it fits in perfectly. I don't know how they've done this. The engineering is very good. And here we'll find our SIM tray, which does take 2 nano SIMs. Got a loudspeaker here, antenna lines up the top, IR transmitter, microphone, more antenna lines, and our other loudspeaker. Now the opening mechanism, let's talk a little bit about this because it does have titanium alloy folding mechanism, this, and when you open it up, it feels really good. Now, just before I go to open it, see how that holds closed? There's magnets in there around the outside and it does feel really good. So if you just hold one side and you go to give it a shake or something, it's not like it's going to open up by itself. It won't just flap around, open right up. And opening it, there's a bit of resistance here and I like that. It feels really good. And then you get that lovely animation too when you open it up. Now notice that there's this little lip around the outside here, this matte bezel around the outside, and that means the screens are not touching when it is closed. There is a little bit of a gap there and it just closes, of course, perfectly like so. So this is leagues ahead of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold, the Z Fold 4, 5. They don't, well, the older models didn't close completely flat with the gap in them. And unfortunately, I don't have a Z Fold 5 on hand. I do have the Xiaomi here. Otherwise, I would be doing a bit of a comparison against both of those devices. So it's definitely thinner and lighter. Fantastic build with this Honor Magic V2. Now you really get to see how thin it is, of course, when you unfold it. So right now we are looking at here the thickness, just 4.7 millimeters. It is crazy thin, yet it's got the 66 watt Honor's supercharging and the battery capacity. It's got a silicon carbon battery within this is 5,000 milliamp hours. So that's a really good capacity considering how thin and light this is. And you'll see here we have our always on capacitive fingerprint reader and our power button. So I'll just lock the Magic V2 now and unlock it, touch that, and there we go. It's that quick and the accuracy of it is very good. Now, the outer screen is a very good screen that is not narrow. So we have a standard aspect ratio here. It's not a tiny little thing you have to use to type on like the competitors out there like Samsung, which still haven't given us the proper wider outer body here. So I'll just bring this up the keyboard too and show you what it's like to type on. And I wouldn't be typing just with one hand. So I'll just do hello world here, and that just makes it so much easier typing on this screen. So maximum brightness, very good with this panel. It tops out at 2500 nits. So here it is in direct sunlight. I can make it out. I can send WhatsApp messages, use the screen just fine in direct sunlight. Now it is covered with their nano crystal glass 2.0. There's a curvature you can see to the edge here. I'll just bring back up that chrome screen and we can look at the bezels. They're not bad at all for a outer screen of this style, foldable, being so thin and light too as well. Now the camera up here in the cutout, this is 16 megapixels, and the screen, just like the inner screen, does have a very good refresh rate, being 120 hertz, so they haven't gone with 60 on the outside or 90 or anything like that. And it does have that same pulse width modulation, which is the 3840 hertz. This means the screen, and I'll show you the inner shortly, does not have any flickering at all. Even at super low brightnesses, it's not going to start shimmering and flickering away, which can be very annoying. Now, it is an LTPO OLED screen too, this particular model here. So the colors are fantastic. They're great, deep black. So very good for an outer screen. And then against the Mix Fold 3 here, you can see what I'm talking about with that pulse width modulation. So having such a high rate here, that the Xiaomi, which does not have the 3840 hertz, it's shimmering, it's flickering there at the lower brightness, whereas it's absolutely rock solid with the Magic V2, no flicker, none of that banding happening at all. And then with our inner screen now, you'll see that there's still a tiny little bit of banding happening with the Xiaomi, and I did increase the brightness just to try and get rid of that because it irritates me looking at that on camera. But if I lower that brightness down again, you're going to see that banding, and I'll just increase that again to get rid of it. Of course, it's not happening at all with the Honor with the 3840 hertz pulse width modulation. So the screen on the Honor here is the superior panel. This is slightly larger, so we're looking at 8.03 inches versus 7.96 inches, but the resolution better on the Honor here with the inner panel, because this inner panel here has a resolution of 2156 by 2344. That gives us 402 ppi, and we have here 360 ppi. Now at this viewing distance, you can not tell that difference. You can't see it at all. It's just when you look at them a little bit closer. We're looking at 1916 by 2160 with the Xiaomi there. And the brightness is better on the Honor too as well, because this one tops out at 1600 nits versus 1300. So there's another difference there. We have Dolby Vision support with our Xiaomi versus IMAX Enhanced here. Both of them 120 hertz. They are both very, very fluid, very fast, no problems with the touch response. Both of them are excellent displays, really good, and they are LTPO OLED screens here, but the edge definitely goes to the Honor's display here. Then with our cameras on the rear, we've got a 2.5 times optical zoom camera here, 20 megapixels, f2.4, and in the middle is our 50 megapixel camera that has an f1.9 aperture. It's got laser assist and the optical image stabilization, and then a ultra wide here, which is 50 megapixels, a bright f2.0, and it does have autofocus. Honor has also brought through a very cool feature from the Magic 5 Pro flagship that I've also covered, that's in the channel, and that is the motion sensing capture. So you can enable that here, and this is the automatic AI mode. So yes, it is using AI, and here I did just jump up in the air and it captured this shot in a split second. So the reaction time of this, it's monitoring the whole time, it's focusing all the time as well, and it can get these super quick captures, and it's good for a little bit of fun here to jump up, test it out, and no other phone can really match this in terms of just that shutter rate being so fast, able to capture shots like this. Now up against the hardware, we're talking hardware versus hardware here of the Xiaomi Mix Fold 3, the Honor Magic V2, clearly superior now that I've been using both of them, because the inner screen is a lot better, the sharpness is better, it's lighter, it's thinner, The build quality slightly better, and I believe, having tested out the cameras on both of them, so far I can see, even though it's not finalized software, that the cameras with the Honor Magic V2 are superior, and we do have that AI motion sensing. So a really quick camera, as I showed you there too. That shutter rate is just blazing fast. So the same kind of tech that they've pulled through from the Magic 5 Pro. Now, with the pulse width modulation being so high at that 3840 Hertz, that's another reason why I can say in this video that it's better than the Mix Fold 3, because you don't see any banding, there's no flickering there, it's just a superior display to look at and overall hardware. So I hope to be back with a follow-up video to this one, of course, going into my usual review process there, give you all of that stuff you really do want to see, not just the hardware, so stay tuned for that. But thank you so much for watching this hands-on preview of the hardware of the Magic V2.